Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Think DI with Shweta. In this series, as you know, we decode official GMAT Data Insights questions to understand not just the answers, but the thinking behind them. What you see right now is an official question. It's two-part analysis rated 805 plus difficulty level. Now, it's so difficult that only 24% people got it correct. And everybody who got it wrong spent way more time than the people who got it correct on average. You see, there is at least a 30-second gap between the two. So it's not just a difficult question, therefore. It is that kind of question that quietly drains your time while still leading so many people to the wrong answer. Hi, I'm Shweta Koshira. I've been mentoring GMAT students for over 11 years now. I've worked extensively on the data insights section from its IR days to today's DI format. I've also created DI courses and questions for several leading test prep companies. Through this question again, I'll try to impart a learning that you will be able to use every single time. Let's read this. A statistician reached the following conclusions about games between university soccer teams. So there are some conclusions that are going to come. Okay, let's see. Overall, a team playing on its home field has a 45% chance of a win, 25% chance of a loss, and 30% chance of a draw or a tied income. So we're talking about a team playing on its home field, so very specific kind of game. And we are talking about the team that is on its home field. And the question gives us the chances of this team winning the game, losing the game, or this game ending in a draw. So that settles the first sentence. Now, in the games where one or more goals are scored, the team that scores the first goal has a 55% chance of scoring it in the game's first half and a 45% chance of scoring it later in the game. So, is this still talking about the same condition that we had in the first situation? No, that yellow part was about a team playing on its home field. Now we're just talking about any games where at least one goal is scored. And we are saying that in this situation, the team that scores the first goal, it could be any team, no home field, nothing, don't mix it. First goal scorer, that team has a 55% chance of scoring it in the first half. And therefore, the remaining 45% chance of scoring it in the second half. Okay, I organized it a little bit better. Now, reading on. When that team is the home team, that team? Which team? The game that you just talked about in the previous sentence. That's the only way it'll continue. So, that team is this team that was the first goal scorer. So, let's see what happens. When that team is the home team, there is a 40% chance that the other team will score no goals and therefore 60% chance that it will score one or more goals. So this is going deeper in this second classification, that when this first goal scorer is the home team, then you now have more data about the other team. It says there's a 40% chance of the other team scoring no goal at all, and there is a 60% chance of this other team scoring at least one goal. So, see what's happening here. It's a lot of things that did not directly get connected. If you see, this is the first piece of information all about a team playing on the home field and about its winning, losing, or the game ending in a draw. Then we talked about all the games with at least one goal, and we talked about the first goal scorer scoring it in which part of the game. And then we looked at a special case of this second one. Let me just call it 2B, just to show you that it's a case within it. This is where the first goal scorer is a home team, which means playing on its home field. Then in this case, again, you have some data. Okay, quite a lot is happening. We are not going to spend time right now trying to draw connections. Where we could see a connection 2A and 2B, we've made it clear here. Let's read ahead now. Select for X and for Y, select what? Two different outcomes. So here then in the choices that you see, these are outcomes. You have to select them such that The information provided, all of this information provided, explicitly includes the something. So the information here provided should explicitly include it. That means it should be stated. It should not be something that you have to infer. It should be stated in this information. Stated what? What should be stated? The statistician's estimates of probability that if X occurs, so will Y. We'll have to understand this a little deeper. If X occurs, then Y. A lot of people immediately think it is trying to say if X, then Y always. That they try to start to find outcomes X and Y where X would imply Y always. They start looking at the choices and they're like, okay, what should X be so that whenever X happens, Y also happens. But that is a rushed observation. Read the line again. It says the information should include the statistician's estimates of the probability that if X occurs, so will Y. It is not asking you to find X and Y for which this happens. It is just saying that whatever the statistician's estimate is of such a thing happening, that should be stated. This should be stated in the information. We have to find X and Y for which we can find this. That means when X happens, what are the chances that Y will also happen? Those chances, that probability should be stated in the information. Okay, with that, we'll go and we'll look at our choices. Say I look at the first option here for X. The home team scores at least 2 goals in the game. This is completely out. Nowhere did we have at least 2 goals. Look at all three of these. First was team playing on home field. Second was about at least 1 goal. And then the first goal scorer, when is the goal scored? And then about the home team being the first goal scorer. Nowhere did we talk about 2 goals. Second option, the home team scores the first goal. Well, yes, this situation we have. Where do we have it? Home team first goal. This is right here in 2B. Remember the extension. So if this is X, suppose, then which Y's do you know about? You know about this Y and this Y. If any of these is in the choices, that would be correct. So I'm interested in the other team, something about the other team. Let's hold on to this one for X. I'm not marking it yet. A goal is scored in the first half of the game. This is not it. Why? Because first half, if I want to talk about, it should just have been about the first goal scorer. That is not about the home team directly. That is valid for any team making the first goal. So they will not perfectly relate to each other. A goal is scored in the second half. These two are actually the same. It's not directly connected with home team scoring the first goal. These are connected with just whatever team scores the first goal. That first team gets it in the first half or the second half. The team opposing the home team, so the other team, scores at least 1 goal. This is precisely what you were looking for. At least 1 goal is this here, right? 60% chances. So, whatever I was looking for, I found it in the last choice. So, X and Y, I have the outcomes. So, what is happening in this question? What is so confusing? You notice that there are a lot of contexts in this. One big reason students get DI questions wrong is that they quietly detach information from the context in which it was given. They just focus on the math. What is context? Well, every time you read a statement, don't just ask, what does this tell me? Also ask, when is this true? Like all of this was for the situation where we're talking about a team playing on the home field. Same way, if you look at this 40 and 60, when is this true? This is true when you're talking about a certain home team that has made the first goal. Whenever the context changes, instead of just trying to hold everything in your head or mixing it with the existing information, draw another new flow chart, a new representation. Write down what belongs to that new information and resist the temptation to merge it with what you already had. Good GMAT students are comfortable keeping information in silos until the question gives them permission to connect those. Yes, you should have the bird's eye view, but you should not make mixes and connections where they are none. I hope this helps. Happy learning. Let's do it right.